saying that, okay,
Sorry
got
about
it.
that. Just realized.
No problem.
Yeah.
I'll just start by saying that we have had a great time this year, the advocacy department, Kylie, Victoria, myself, and kind of building out ways that we can do more political work at CP. And so this year, we've really tried to meet people and meet with organizations that give us the opportunity to plug you all in with opportunities on the ground to advocate for things like voting access, and democracy reform. This past summer, we were able to launch something on our website that we also put in our newsletters and that we've been sharing on IO that just collects different opportunities around the country, and especially here in Washington. As we know, a lot of our volunteers are here to give you ways to engage. And we've been doing that on a weekly basis over the course of the summer. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we're sunsetting that program here mid-month this month as we move into focus on field. There's going to be a lot of travel and work on the other side of the country, and so we want to fold our efforts into that and focus on field. So we'll be traveling and seeing how we can meet folks, especially in Virginia, to talk a little bit about what advocacy efforts they're looking forward to doing next year, and also plugging into their voter contact efforts. So just wanted to let folks know that that's going to be sunsetting, but we have a few more opportunities that we want to make sure we get on the website. So make sure that you look out for that. That's our first update. Number two, so I guess there's that also includes number two, that we're going to be folding into the field efforts. And I know that we'll talk a little bit more about that over the course of the agenda here today. Number two is something exciting that we also are going to be doing as a team for advocacy. We see that there's a hunger for more information about the candidates that we've supported in the past, what they're doing now in the legislature, maybe if they didn't win their races, what are they continuing to do in their communities? So we've been collecting information and meeting with those folks to talk to them about what they're doing, and just to keep kind of tabs on how they're impacting their communities, and how what they've done, and kind of what they're doing in the legislature, for example, now that they're there. So we're going to start kind of a mini blog on our website once again, to kind of look back at where are they now, what are the candidates doing that we've supported in the past, what are they doing now, and looking forward. So we'll also do some updates kind of on different candidates of the week, looking forward, that we're going to be supporting with our field efforts, to make sure that we're supporting them, and that folks know a little bit more about who and why we're going out in the first place. So we're going to roll that out at the end of the month. Again, it'll be on our website, and Kylie, Victoria, and I are excited to create the content for that. And we'll make sure to engage with folks on social media on that as well. So that's another project to look out for. Advocacy efforts more generally, we next year are going to ramp up again, probably late this year in December, and then in early January is when a lot of states and legislatures get ready for a new session. So we'll be meeting with candidates that we support once again to talk a little bit about what they're going to be doing and seeing in their states as it relates to democracy reform, and how CP can be supportive. So definitely mark your calendars and engage with us and ask us any questions that you have when it comes to policy making in the new year. We're definitely tracking that. And then the last update, and we're happy to take questions after, is this snapshot that you see on our shared screen, which is the advocacy toolkit that we rolled out this past summer as well. It is on our website. So if you go to the Common Power website, we have a tab for advocacy, and there's a list of some of the past events that we've done and more information about things that are looking ahead. But we wanted to create a resource for folks who are either new to advocacy, or maybe not new to advocacy, but are looking for ways that they can contact their elected officials and get engaged. So this was a labor of love, as Kylie's words. And I like to use that because we spent a long time trying to figure out what could be helpful for you all as a resource and content within, and took a long time to kind of pare it down and get some of the specifics on what advocacy looks like. And so I'm happy to share my screen. Can you give me capabilities, Kylie, so I can go through with you all a little bit about what's in it? We're not going to go over all of the content because it's quite a bit, but I just want you all to see what we've featured. So I will share my screen. Is that working?
Yeah, you're doing great.
Just 1 second. Oh, here we go. Okay. So again, found on our website, you can download it and share with whomever you'd like. What we featured, we have a table of contents, so a bit of an introduction about what advocacy means to CP, how to get involved, voting rights issues, branches of government, which is a really important context for people to have so that you can know how policymaking works and how to actually move policy ahead and throughout the process. It looks different state by state, but we kind of just did a general snapshot of what it can look like. We talked a little bit about lobbying, relational organizing, how a bill becomes a law, finding your legislator, and a glossary of terms. So you'll see our introduction here, a little bit about the CP Advocacy Department, why advocacy matters, our priority states that folks might be familiar with. They're highlighted here in purple. And we also created a table by our priority states that kind of breaks down different voting rights issues in those priority states. And we thought that that was a good way for you all to have a snapshot based on maybe your interest on kind of democracy reform issue specifics. So you can go through that. Then we also break down what those issues are, what they mean, and why they're important for us to be involved with. Again, the branches of government, why that's important, so you can understand the process of how a bill becomes a law and how we as a community or an individual can impact that, how the branches work together. Lobbying. Lobbying can sometimes be a big, scary word for folks, but there's also a group, for example, of CP on some legislative steps, and there's opportunities to do that through community as well. So we talk a little bit about that, relational organizing, actually organizing folks around an issue, how a bill becomes a law. So, you can see there's quite a bit of information in here. And at the top in the introduction, we say different parts of this toolkit that you can skip to if you're already familiar with a lot of this and really want to get to the nitty gritty of contacting your elected officials and how you might do that and what your approach could be. The advocacy department can always be a resource for you too if you have questions on that, but this is the kind of full look. So if you know anybody who might need this information or find it interesting, please send it to it or use it yourself. And I'll let you peruse the rest of it. I won't go through all of it because I know it's a lot. I'll stop my screen share. And I think those are the updates that we had. Kylie, did I miss anything? You're really good at keeping us organized.
Well, thanks, Jamie. No, that was wonderful. Thank you very much for updating everyone on what's going on with the advocacy team.
Great, thank you.
Of course. Great. I'll take a pause just in case anyone has any questions. Feel free to come off mute or put in the chat. Otherwise, we'll move on to fieldwork. Sweet. Okay. Let me pull up my screen again. There we go. All right. I believe I'm handing it over to Puya. Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Kylie. Hello, everybody. I'm Puya. I worked with Ben and some other folks in the Fieldwork department, and we have some cool updates for you coming up in September. As Jamie said, we're preparing obviously for traveling, but we have some in-person stuff coming up, especially our Fieldwork gathering at Washington Hall. That's right. We're going back to Washington Hall each month in person in Seattle to have gatherings and come together and learn about what is happening new with Fieldwork. This month, specifically in September, we have a special guest coming, the co-executive director of New Virginia Majority, our partners in Virginia for the past 5 years. She'll be coming to town and she's going to talk about the stakes, what is happening in Virginia, and we're going to share concrete details around how you can get involved with us. So if you're available September 24th at 10 a.m., please join. I will drop the link on how to sign up. So please come through.
Thank you, Puya. Yeah, we love having the opportunity to gather in person and especially to welcome a partner organization guest. That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, cool. Next slide.
Perfect. So very much related to that, we are very, very excited to announce the launch of Team Virginia. So we are officially launching this team, and the first meeting is actually taking place next week, next Wednesday, September 13th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. This will happen on Zoom, so you can join from any part of the country. You do not have to be in Seattle for that. Over the call, you will learn about how to sign up. There will be a sign-up form going out as well officially. So come learn about what's happening in Virginia. We'll probably have some cool information, cool icebreakers. So it's the first meeting, very, very exciting. If you have time, hope to see you there.
Thanks, Puya.
Hey, can we pause for a second?
Sure.
Hey, Therese is always good at calling on herself unintentionally. Therese, tell us about Tram. You've interacted with Tram a lot over the years, and then you got to interact with her more closely than we ever have. I think at the last victory that we had in the state recently. Tell us about what you think of Tram.
So it's taken me like 3 hours to like start my video and stuff. You'd think I'd never use this thing. I many years ago, it must have been like 2019 or something, I heard an interview of Tram with Capehart and Jonathan Capehart. And it was an amazing interview, just amazing what she has done. She is an immigrant from Vietnam, and well educated, just I just consider her a real powerhouse. I mean, if she sets her mind to something, she goes and does it. And she started New Virginia Majority, I guess 16, 17 years ago, and really helped turn the state from red to purple to blue, and now they're kind of purple again. She's just focused on finding new dynamic people to help run that state. I was chatting with her after the primary. When was it when we were there? I can't even remember. August, June, whatever. I mentioned this interview that I'd seen or that I'd heard her with Jonathan Capehart. I said, is there any way I could get a recording of that? And she said that she has been interviewed by so many people over the last 16 years that there was no way she could find that particular interview. So I just had to laugh because, we're not the only ones who are just enamored by her. She's just incredible, and young and dynamic. So if people can make it to Washington Hall, it'll be a very special morning.
Yeah. Tram's story and what she's built New Virginia up to, it's a grassroots organization that has become a powerhouse in the state to the point where they help write bills now. And they basically, if they back a candidate, that's the gold standard. So we're lucky she had time in her schedule and that she happened to be on the West Coast. So it's going to be a great event. Come through and bring somebody with you.
Thank you, Therese, and thanks, Charles, for calling that out. It was a good plug.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Charles. So related to Team Virginia, we are excited to also announce our team leads. you just heard about from Therese, which is very, very great. Thanks for being here. We also have Chuck. Y'all have seen Chuck probably around on trips. His name pops up on every community meeting, actually. So he's actually one of our team leads, which is great. Vanessa, who has also been part of our community for quite some time now, and Nathania, who is a Action Academy crew lead. Larcy will talk about Action Academy in a bit, but she just wrapped up with Action Academy as a crew lead, and she was also a participant the year before. And it's very exciting for her to get more involved with this, and she's going to help run Team Virginia this year.
Wait, I think Chuck and Vanessa are also on the call, right? We just heard from Therese. Do any of you want to unmute, say a few words?
Yeah, Chuck's here. Chuck, you can tell he's wearing the same shirt as in the picture. That's actually the shirt he wears every single day. He's a consistent individual, and that's why we like him.
Okay, Charles, be careful. Be careful. I don't have anything. I don't have as much history with Virginia as Therese does, but I'm excited to be part of the team, and was out there in the spring, and I'm looking forward to being out there again in October and November of this year to work in Richmond and Virginia Beach and continue CP's winning record in Virginia. So looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Wait, what's the record?
Well, I worked on 2 or 3 campaigns. I'm sorry, we worked on 3 campaigns. I worked on 2, and everyone else was in Richmond, and we won all 3 in the spring. So I'm like, okay, let's just do the same thing in the fall.
Love it. 5 for 5, been said in the chat.
I think Vanessa's here. Is Vanessa here?
I am. I'm recovering from getting my wisdom teeth out, so I'm not going to hop on camera, but I'm very excited to be in Virginia. They're huge races. Virginia, is a deciding factor in the country, and I'm just very excited to be a part of it. And I hope you all can join, and I would love to see you all at our kickoff next week.
Very good. Good plug. Good plug.
Yeah.
Vanessa is one of the few millennials that we've been able to convince to be a part of CP. We're rare. We're rare. So when you catch one in the wild, you gotta, acknowledge it. Thank you, Vanessa, for coming back.
Happy to be here, and I'm very, very excited to be part of Virginia. Yay.
Awesome.
Yay, I love it. I got to meet Chuck and Vanessa both for the first time at the Georgia runoffs last year. And so wonderful to see you all come as volunteers and get more involved in our community. So thank you both very much. And Vanessa, heal well. I remember my wisdom teeth removal, not the funnest. So thanks for joining us. Cool. Okay. We'll go next slide.
All right, y'all. I really just have like a call to action here. We know when we're gonna be there, and we know where we'll be, right? As you can clearly see from Puya's beautiful calendar slide here. Signups are still in the works, and your team leads will definitely get you up to date on that once that becomes available with more details. But if you're the type of person to like score big deals on flights, or like, want to have that on your calendar, this is the time to do it. We know, like, you can look right here, right? We know we're going to be in Virginia Beach from the 26th to the 30th. The 26th and the 30th being travel days. So we'll do work Friday through Sunday there. And then we're going to transition to Richmond for the rest of the time. And we'll be canvassing through all of that. So it's not just the weekend in Richmond. If you want to book your flights and want to do it now, this is all you need. When we'll be there and where we'll be. And we hope to see you out there. And also sign up for Team Virginia so that, you get up-to-date communications and stuff like that. I put the links into the chat, but I can always put it again as well.
Thanks, Vin. This is a beautiful slide. Well done, Puya.
Hey, point of clarification on this. Is there a chance that we're going to go any other time in October, like earlier?
This is the only time that we'll be in Virginia.
Got it.
This year. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Ben. While we're asking questions, Colleen put in the chat, is Virginia the only fieldwork this year?
Very good question. And this is exclusive content for people who are joining the community meeting today. So well done, y'all. That's how you get this. But we are taking smaller teams out to Kentucky and Pennsylvania this year. They're not like a blast open because we really only need a small operation in those states. In Kentucky, it's for the governorship. I think the last time that happened, the margin of victory was like 5,000 votes, right? So this year we're going back for the governorship to support that race. And we'll be traveling at the end of September. So September 30th through like October 4th or 5th or something like that. And then in the middle of October, we're taking another small team out to Pennsylvania for the state Supreme Court race. And Puya can jump in if you want more political details, but no, Virginia is not the only fieldwork opportunity. If you do want to hop on to our Pennsylvania small team, reach out to me or Puya, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, Virginia is still the priority, and that is still where we're pushing volunteers and our efforts for this year.
Thanks, Ben. Great question, Colleen. And Colleen would be a fantastic add to any team effort. She is a master canvasser. Awesome. Cool.
Rowan, you're out there, huh?
Billy.
Let's go.
5 minutes from Philly.
Serious.
No,
Like,
yo, really? Nolan is already RSVP. So, you might see him in person if you go to PA. Okay. No, we'll get on that. We'll get on that with you. Don't worry.
Yeah, do we have Rowan's contact info?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You're already on the list, Rowan.
All right, we're gonna plug you in. Somebody asked about the 8th. The 8th is because we stay all night through election night on Tuesday. The 8th is a travel day and a recuperation day. They're gonna count the votes pretty quickly in Virginia. Actually, there's not gonna be many shenanigans, we don't think. What are the Pennsylvania dates again, Puya?
October 12th through the 16th. Those are our dates.
Yeah, so everybody on this call, especially now we have Carrie George on here. Everybody in this call is invited to join us on the special trips to Kentucky and Pennsylvania if you want to go. I think there was another question there. Alice's comment. The other thing is that I think that there are going to be remote opportunities for all 3 of these states at some point, right, Jess?
I will find some. There will be. Now that you said it, there's gonna be. Can't say no now.
Well, I mean, so we already had them planned for Virginia,
Mhm.
and it's pretty low hanging fruit. They're going to be easy to kind of pick up off of mobilize.us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone's gonna be working, and we'll be there too.
Good. Because I'm reminded of that because Alice is, champion at the remote work. Cool.
I love it. Awesome. Cool. And Puya, thanks for answering. The Kentucky dates are in the chat as well, just so everyone's got it. Sweet. Awesome. Thank you, Fieldwork. There's lots of good stuff that'll be going on this fall. There will be opportunities if you want them. Absolutely. Cool.
Perfect. And one last point before Fieldwork wraps up. As many of you know, we are offering a lot of trainings for new and returning volunteers, focusing from just letting people know what is fieldwork, what is our philosophy behind fieldwork, what are the opportunities, down to concrete about what does it mean, how does it look like to travel with CP, and also focusing on how to do phone banking, how to use minivans, so do more technical trainings. If you are interested to help us run those trainings, because we have a lot of trips coming up, we are going to have a lot of folks who are new joining CP, joining our community, or also volunteers who are returning who have not taken action for a while, but it's fall season and they're coming back and they would like to have those refreshers. So if you're interested to help us run some of those trainings, please reach out to me and we can figure out how that would that look like. We already have some folks who have volunteered. Thank you, Carrie. I know you're on this call. Whitney, you're also on this call. So thank you all for volunteering to help us out. And if any of you are interested to help, even if it's a couple of them, we would really appreciate it. Just reach out to us. Also, Ben put out a like a quick survey if you want to just fill it out right now. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Puya. Yeah, I think, many of us have brought friends, family, other parts, people in our community into CP. And so if you've done that, you're already halfway there. Awesome. Cool. That should be all from Fieldwork. And now we're going to move to updates from CPFuture. I'll turn it over to Larcy and Blossom.
Hey everybody, this week was graduation week for Action Academy, and many of us were a little bewildered at how fast 10 weeks have gone this past summer. And it's a big shift over to school. And just some quick numbers for this year's cohort. It was one of our largest cohorts to date. 80 schools were represented from across 25 different states in 3 different countries this time, including the US. We are pretty much going outside of our comfort zone, really welcoming a large cohort for 2023. And the other thing that we do a lot in Action Academy is, of course, action. And collectively, the cohort accrued over 1,200 total action hours. Now, that's beyond what's required for the program. We like to have them enter our ecosystem, do some trainings with us. You've seen many of them come to this space in our community meetings, many in other lectures that are offered from the Institute, and just kind of exploring where they can kind of get to know CP a little bit more from all the different departments and programs and teams that we have in our organization. But what we've noticed a lot is that they know how to mobilize, and they showed up big time in 2 of our Action Day efforts this past summer, where they recruited their own friends to enter Action Day or join a certain event on behalf of them. One, they needed action hours. But the cool thing about that is that we were also recruiting real time because their friends said to come check us out and see what we're all about. And many of them really fell in love with the community. But this is also a shout out to the community, because fieldwork training and community events just like this, you guys welcome them and you are ready to receive them. You're very welcoming. And those are some of the feedback that we get from them and why they continue to come. Although, like I said, it is graduation week, but we have a few on this call already because they're ready to jump into action. So one of the most attended, and we're going to call it the favorite type of action that they wanted to do or did do over the summer is field work training. We emphasize a lot that the academy is something you do to really explore the educational benefits about voting rights history. And the next thing you should do is convert that to action. And so towards the end of the cohort, many of them were going to fieldwork training, some returners. One, because there was a community that was establishing there, and the connections they're making with the fieldwork team, but also just pure curiosity about what to do next. And they're really eager to do so. We have a long list of standouts this cohort, and many of them are trying their best to adjust their school schedules so that they can join us out in the field. It is a big push that we're going to get them ready for 2024. And many of them already want to get started on that's right, Rowan. Many of them want to get started on how to branch out and bring Action Academy and Common Power into their campuses. So we're launching 2 new programs this fall just to keep them engaged, to get them ready up on their leadership development, leadership training, organizing training, and also to ensure that 2024 is yet another big cohort, so that we have volunteer power when we're ready to go door knock and canvas in the fall for 2024. actually, Rowan, I know you spoke at graduation, but would you like to share just a few things? You can rinse and repeat what you said at graduation, but since you're here, would love for you again to re-share with the rest of the community here what experience you had at Action Academy. Calling you on the spot.
That's okay. What I said at graduation was basically that, I mean, I was really lucky. I got pulled into it like last minute to apply, but it was really an incredible experience. I mean, the speakers were amazing. I loved like every single one of them, all the lecturers, Miss Bland, all of them were like really incredible experiences. But I think my like favorite part, only by a little bit, was the community. And like for me, I mean, go Team PA, that's my team. But like the people that we met and like in all our like breakout rooms for like civic highlights and stuff, like the amount of people that like I know are all going to do like great things because they're like well spoken, well educated, and really passionate, and being able to like foster that in a community and meet all those like people with like, we are all like-minded, but we're all so different. Like we all are here for a common purpose, but we all have such different like lived experiences, like where we're at in life. But yeah, it was just really incredible to like be with all those people and like have these mentors and have these opportunities and like be able to learn in that kind of a space.
Thanks for sharing with that with us, Ron. And they're just one of many students that are ready to step up in leadership and ready to go with us and really deepen their connection with Common Power and grow in their leadership development. Another thing that is a big call out, Rowan's part of the Jeopardy champ crew for Mandy's team this week during graduation. Not only was their graduation, but we also just ended the cohort with Jeopardy. And this year's Jeopardy champs was Mandy's crew, which was Team Pennsylvania, or excuse me, the Pennsylvania crew and the New York crew. So they hold the ranks for Jeopardy. It was a lot of fun. Many of our staff members also came and played with us and everything. It was definitely like a free for all towards the end, just anybody's game kind of thing, family kind of game night atmosphere. It was a lot of fun. So I'm happy to announce that many of our students, like Rowan, are going to be in the field, and I really hope that you join us out there in the field so you can get to know these incredible young leaders that are pipelining into next year's bigger efforts for 2024. And also Blossom, I just want to call you out too. I know you were in the call, but she was an amazing program assistant, something we tried this particular cohort, just a new position, what kind of support the academy needs as the academy is growing. And she absolutely did a fantastic job just flexing her leadership muscles. And it really, really pays off when the leadership team comes from the academy themselves, because their mentorship and the way that they shepherd the current cohort just comes so naturally. And the way that they build community is really from an empathy lens of, I know what it was like in your shoes, coming into a Zoom with 100+ students and who knows who from what corners of the country. And she did an amazing job stepping up, leading the crew leads and leading the cohort to the finish line with the largest Action Academy cohort. So shout out to Blossom if you're out there. We appreciate you and love the fact that you are staying with us for future endeavors in CPFuture and also Common Power. Yes, absolutely. Show all the love in that chat. She feels it. Right, Blossom? You're out there.
Yeah, she's there. I can see her.
Awesome.
Here. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. That's why I was saying in the chat. And believing in my leadership skills. Kind of was put on the spot, but yeah, thank you so much.
All right, Kylie, back over to you. Yes, an amazing cohort, and I just hope you all know we're so proud of every single one who graduated.
I love it. Thank you, Larcy. Thank you, Rowan, and thank you, Blossom and CPFuture. Awesome. I'm gonna. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Awesome. Can you tell us what's coming up next for CPFuture? What are you working on next?
Yeah, so we're working on 2 new programs. And both of those are kind of like trying to, number one, we want to continue to track like the progress of the people who come out of CPFuture, but also we wanted to give them an opportunity to continue on with action. So we have something called squads, and we're going to have another program called Campus Leads. And both of those are going to gear up with action, field work. Those people who they'll be going through the squads program, they'll have priority, or they'll be able to travel at the end of that program. And a lot of that also is leadership development. And then Campus Leads, that's basically like multiplying CP on a whole nother level, but on campuses. And people like Rowan and Nolan, and there's thousands of other names who will be a part of that Campus Lead program. And also what's next is hopefully we're gunning towards putting applications out in February. So, tell your kids, cousins, nephews, nieces, everyone that you know, that hopefully we'll have our applications out again for cohort 2024 in February.
Awesome. Thank you, Blossom. It's exciting. All right. Okay, next up, we have the Institute, and I'm excited to welcome Wale to talk about a really incredible event that he and the Institute put on. So, Wale, all yours.
Thanks, Kylie. Hello, everyone. So I'm just going to give a quick recap of the event that we put together with the Institute. We had the opportunity through a connection that Dr. Scott has with historian and director Stanley Nelson. He put together this movie, Sound of the Police, which examines the relationship between African Americans and the police from slavery to present time. He put together this movie in order to get the word out and spark some excitement. They were hosting some early screenings, so we collaborated with him and his organization to host an early screening here in Washington. We had 119 RSVPs, and that was all within like a week of putting it all together, 85 to 100 attendees. And what made the event so special was the community organizations that we were able to partner with. And there were 7 different organizations. So this was a really fun event to put on. And in addition to actually doing the film screening, everyone stayed for another 2-hour panel discussion. Well, it was like an hour, but we stayed a lot longer just because of the conversations and how good the conversations were. So we can go to the next slide. Has a few pictures. So this was hosted at the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Center. After the movie, we had a panel discussion with many of the organizations that we collaborated with being represented on that panel. And just to list out the orgs, we partnered with Freedom Project, Creative Justice, King County Equity Now, Black Prisoners Caucus, Kids Are Kids, East African Community Services, Black Elephant Party. And these are all organizations that work on restorative justice efforts within Washington and on other forms of building community safety outside of policing. So yeah, this was a special event, and I think it was a great opportunity for CP to step out of the civic political space and work with other community organizers and on issues that they care about, issues that the policy and the politicians that we work to elect ultimately affect. So yeah, that's all I have to share. But really excited about the movie being out. It's on Hulu if you want to check that out. And our own Dr. Scott is also featured in that movie as well. So really encourage you guys to go check it out. Devin also worked on this event too. If you have anything to share, go for it.
The only thing I have to share is that Wale, this was all you, man. I mean, from bringing everybody together to, yeah, for just an incredibly powerful discussion. And the fact that after like a 2-hour movie, most folks stuck around and wanted to listen and to engage. It was just, it was a special evening. And so just major props to you, man.
Thank you.
I'm
Thanks
glad
for
you said that. I was going to jump in and say that. I mean, this event was actually, it was like Wole's, all his worlds coming together, most of them. Minor mention, major mention is that Nikita Oliver was she hosted, they hosted the panel. And that's just, I mean, as somebody who knew everybody in the panel and all the stakeholders involved, and also, Wole is directly connected to. So it was a very rich experience, and one that we're privileged to be a part of. Not our usual place to be operating in that space. So I felt like we were guests, even though we were hosting. But it was worth every minute. Thank you, Wole, for putting that together.
For sure.
That's lovely. Yes, thank you, Ole. Thanks, Charles and Devin. I'd love to take a second just to see if there's anyone who also attended, and maybe I know that some like the community members were there, so would love to open it up to see if you were able to join, and any other thoughts. But obviously a really incredible event. Cool. Seeing none, I think we'll move on to some more from the Institute.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, great.
So I'm Devin, a senior program manager with the Institute, and I'm just going to talk about 3 different aspects of our work. The first is an upcoming foundational course that we're offering. We recently finished another course by Dr. Donna Murch, who lectured on Black Power to the Black Lives Matter movement. And this is our upcoming course for October. It's by Dr. Meredith Bagley, and she's an associate professor of communication studies at the University of Alabama. She's done a lot of work around advocating for the recognition of Authoring Lucy, the first Black student to attend the University of Alabama in 1956. So she's an activist scholar, which is right in line with our motto at the Institute of Education to Action. And I corresponded with her a little bit over the past couple days as she's working on her lectures, and she sent me an updated blurb about what her course will be about. So I'm gonna read that. So she says, this series, which is From Selma to Stonewall, Civil Rights and LGBTQ plus Rights, an Uneasy Alliance. This series surveys tensions and solidarity, which points between the struggles for African-American civil rights and LGBTQ plus rights. We will examine queer-identified figures within the civil rights movement before moving forward to the ways the two movements overlap, inform, and occasionally exist in tension. Through a largely but not exclusively chronological approach, this series will enact the movement teaching that the Institute for Common Power centers. How does the movement for Black civil rights demonstrate continuity with Black lesbian feminism? How did the legacy of civil disobedience inform queer activism like the Stonewall riots? What tensions of reform or revolution shape issues like marriage equality and the current crisis over gender-affirming healthcare? Along this course, I will share critical rhetorical concepts that help clarify past and current tension points, intersectionality of race and queerness, white erasure of Black queer activism, and white heteronormative politics and contemporary activism. So this is going to be one heck of a powerful, powerful course. And I've met Dr. Meredith Bagley, and you couldn't meet a nicer, more passionate person. And so I really suggest this course. And I will add the link. I will put the link in the chat after I finish going through these 3 events. So Kylie, you can take me to the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, Devin.
The second thing I wanted to share was that we at the Institute have uploaded new curriculum for educators. So we've taken 3 cohorts of educators to Georgia and Alabama to learn about the civil rights movement, to learn about contemporary movements and organizing. And every educator we asked to create curriculum, to create some lesson plans that they will use in their classrooms, but also that they will give to us and we can give to the public so that other educators can use them in their classrooms. So I'm going to share the screen for just a moment so I can show you where that is on our website. And also just show you the PowerPoints and the resources that now we've made available for educators, because we're really, really excited about this. And I should say too that the idea for this came from one of the educators on the learning tours, Marty Binkow. And she came back and she said, you know, it's incredible what you're doing, that you're gathering these resources, but it'd be really great if they were standardized. So that they were really easily accessible and were organized and clean and concise so that educators could just download PowerPoint slides and use them in their classroom right away. So we have this on the Institute webpage. These are K through 12 lesson plans. And when you go down, this is just a portion of them. She's working on them currently. You can see that we're organizing them by grade. And then when you click on, say, like the Birmingham, Alabama Children's March, it takes you to this page where you're able to see the lesson plan in full that the educator created. So all the notes about what you're going to be doing each day with the students, video links with different songs and different videos to show students, and then a full PowerPoint presentation. So are you able to see this PowerPoint presentation that I just, awesome. So this is the standardized slides for all of these different lessons. And you can see there's important people, focus questions. There's 55 slides in this lesson. And so it'll be broken up over a series of days. So that, and I'll just quickly kind of show you what educators can download. So they're not winging it. They have a lot of content and kind of formatting that they're able to follow as they present on really, really important topics in their classroom. All right. And then Kylie, if you could just share that last slide. I've only got one more thing.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Devin. That is so awesome. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. We're very, very excited about it. And then finally, we are at the Institute are really, really proud to be partnering with the Seattle Seahawks. We've done quite a few events with them. Just last month, we went to their training for the second time annually, and members of Common Power and the Institute passed out information about the organization and also registered folks to vote. We've registered players to vote, and we'll be doing that again on September 20th. And we'll also be taking Seahawks staff on a learning tour in October. And so that partnership is kind of blossoming and coming along. So we're really excited about that too. And that is all I've got. Thanks for giving me the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Devin. There's so many great things coming out of the Institute. Wonderful. Sweet. Okay. So now we've reached the last segment of the community meeting tonight, talking about upcoming events. Of course, there'll be opportunities for questions as well at the end. But I did want to specifically call out one opportunity on the slide and hand it over to Jessica to talk about the Goodwill Voter Reg.
Thanks, Kylie. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already heard from me, but we are launching our National Voters Registration Day campaign next week, and we are still looking for more volunteers to help staff our stores. We are doing a really big push this year where we want to staff up to 11 Goodwill stores across Washington State. And so we are going beyond King County and starting to work in Snohomish, Skagit, Kitsap, and Whatcom. And so we're definitely looking for more volunteers. And I see Ben has already dropped the link, already thinking ahead. And so if you're free from September 16th to the 19th, we would love to have you guys. Of course, I see already some of you on the call who I already know have signed up, which is amazing. And I appreciate you guys so much. But yeah, I mean, invite your friends, but invite your family and spread the word. We're really great campaign, and we're so excited to finally have it happen. So just, yeah, invite everyone you know.
I love it. Thank you, Jessica, and thanks for leading that effort. Cool. Many of the other events on the screen we've talked about a little bit, or folks who've been around CP have probably heard about. But I did also want to shout out the letter writing parties that our very own Donna Stringer will be hosting at our office in Capitol Hill. So there are 2 opportunities to write letters in community to Virginia voters. Otherwise, the rest of the things that you see up on the slide are trainings, which are wonderful as well. So yeah, that's just another. Oh yeah, thanks. I also want to shout out, thank you, Ben, for helping out with all the links in the chat. With that, I'm happy to leave this up, or we have 4 minutes left, so we can have just questions about these events or anything at all in general. But obviously want to be mindful of everyone's time. That's the end of the content that we have this evening. Yeah, Colleen.
Thank you. Can I just put in a plug for a local event right here in your backyard of Seattle? We have a really important race going on in Burien this year for Burien City Council. You guys have probably seen some stuff in the news, bad news about Burien. Our city council is really failing us and dealing with the homelessness situation just terribly. And I'm really sad to say that 2 of the people that have been, most responsible for that are people that I, knocked doors for like 4 years ago, thinking that they would be progressive candidates, and they have not turned out to be. So we are really hoping to replace 3 city council members with great progressive candidates. Crystal Marks is one. Patricia Hudson is one. She would be the first African-American candidate or city council member in Burien. And this weekend, we're going to show the Barbie movie at the Admiral in West Seattle. And I'll put a link in the chat. But if this is a fundraiser for Patricia Hudson and Crystal Marks, and if you can come and join us 3 p.m. Sunday, please do. I'll put a link in the chat. And if you want to help us door knock in Burien, we desperately need you too. So contact me. I'll put my email in the chat too.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Colleen. Thanks so much for sharing that opportunity and what's going on in Burien.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, I think I'm going to take the slides down just so we can all see each other. And I'll stop the recording as well.